The Raw after WrestleMania, where a bunch of drunk, hungover, hardcore wrestling fans assemble for a bunch of Mania Fallout angles and new beginnings, and either use their once a year, I came all this way energy to either enhance or ruin the show, often both. The last few iterations of this tradition have been fairly dumb, but since when has repeated poor performance ever stopped a wrestling fan from forking over some wing-wangs to the big dub, and hoping to themselves maybe this year, as a post-Mania Raw often represents the start of a new calendar for the big dub. A big part of what usually makes the night so special is seeing a superstar make their debut, either graduating from developmental or parachuting in from outside the company, providing a jolt of electricity to the roster. A way for WWE to say, yes, we know WrestleMania is over, but for the love of God, please don't go anywhere. Oh no, where are you going? Welcome to Honor Wrestling Club, and here are our 10 best Raw after WrestleMania debuts. Also, it's worth pointing out that they're not returns. These are debuts, not returns. So, shut up about the Brock Lesnar 2012 thing. Just you shut up, but also please don't go anywhere. Welcome to the club. In at number 10, we have Umaga. Oh look, a debut that WWE actually followed up on with months of consistent booking. It's a good way to start this list, don't get used to it. Cast your mind back to 2006. One of WWE's oddest years. Hello Spirit Squad, what a shame you're about to get covered in human poo. Back then the post-Mania debut was no guarantee, and the developmental system was all but invisible. So often when a new star showed up, if WWE wanted the fans to actually react even slightly, they had to do something memorable. Umaga's debut was one of these events. He ranks quite low on the list because way too much of his debut was taken up by a very long and very annoying promo battle between Armando Estrada and Ric Flair. When Umaga shows up and destroys the Nature Boy, quality drastic goes up. The Samoan Savage decimated the 16-time world champion, leaving him in a heap on the floor, in front of a shocked Chicago crowd. Brilliant stuff. In at number 9, we have Ember Moon. Now, to be fair, WWE did do two quite silly things with Ember Moon's debut. First of all, they gave her debut surprise pop not to her entrance music, but to Nia Jax, announcing her as her partner. That's just a pet peeve of mine, let the music get the pop. Also, she debuted in a tag match. That's a bit odd. However, neither of these little snafus can distract from the fact that Ember's debut was hot fire, with smouldering intensity, igniting the crowd, and called by Michael Cole. You know, like Cole. Point is, WWE could have debuted Ember by wearing a turkey suit and farting in a bag, and it still wouldn't have distracted the crowd from the fact that the Eclipse is one of the best finishes in wrestling today. Moon cracked Alexa Bliss into several different pieces with it, pinning the woman who was Raw Women's Champion just 24 hours earlier. A good start, shame about what happened over the next few years. Number 8, Neville. Could have done without the cape, TBH. Could have done without him losing his first name, TBH. But this was still very good because Neville is very good. A textbook example of how to do a functional debut. You have the wrestler appear in front of people who know who they are, have them do a few cool things, hit their finish and pin a recognisable name. All along the line, that's what they did here. The man now known as Pac, formerly known as Neville, formerly known as Adrian Neville, interrupted Curtis Axel's delusional Axelmania shtick, which was actually totally over in front of the smarty crowd. Hit a top rope moonsault, then a few cartwheels for good measure. Whee! Look at him go! The incredibly impressive Red Arrow in Bob's Your Uncle, or as they say in Newcastle, Y.I. Greg. A good start, shame about what happened over the next few years. Number 7, The Revival. This list is actually making me quite sad. Anyway, back in 2017, The Revival were regarded by those in the know as one of the top 3 greatest tag teams definitely in the world, and possibly of all time. And I'd say over the past few years they've only really cemented that further. Their matches against DIY, American Alpha, Authors of Pain were all highly acclaimed, and everyone was very excited indeed to see what kind of tag team magic they could work on the main roster. Hence, a thunderous reaction when the night after WrestleMania 33, The Revival debuted in Orlando and had one of their few good days in the WWE. They pushed over the New Day's ice cream cart, which is premium top guy behaviour right there, and then proceeded to beat Big E and Woods in a surprisingly competitive match. Like, The Revival sold a lot for the New Day, which some might see as counterintuitive for a debut, but it also set up The Revival's gimmick perfectly, because even though the New Day might have the Revival outclassed in strength or agility, they are the best tag team on this planet because they know every single trick in the book to sneak out a coming win and maximise tag team offense. A good start, shame about what happened over the next few years. In number 6, we have Enzo and Cass. Oh look, 4 in a row. I've now won Connect 4. Woo! Let's just get it out the way now. A good start, etc. But here's the thing about Enzo and Cass. They show that you don't always need to have a match in order to make a blockbuster debut. It's a pretty simple formula. Arrive, do what you're best at, and then leave. See, wrestling is not necessarily what Enzo and Cass do best. Enzo is best at spouting New York-tinged aggressive jazz poetry and looking like a chicken fell on hard times, and Cass is best at being tall, and neither man are best at spelling. The night after WrestleMania 32, Enzo and Cass showed up to a rapturous ovation in Dallas, interrupting the Dudley Boys, sort of. Like, the Dudley Boys were leaving, but then Enzo and Cass showed up, and then they had to walk past the Dudley Boys, and then they cut a promo from the Dudley Boys who were standing on the ramp from inside the ring. It's a bit of weird staging, but it's a hell of a promo is the point. The "I'm gonna put that lazy eye back to work" slam on Devon is unreal. They got over all their catchphrases in front of a crowd who couldn't wait to join in on those catchphrases, and at the end of the day, the segment just made Enzo and Cass seem cool as hell. That's a good day at the office. In number 5, we have X-Pac. Don't you push your glasses up your nose at me and tell me this is a return, because Sean Waltman left the WWE as the 1-2-3 Kid, and he returned in 1998 as X-Pac. 2 completely different characters, and I will not be taking further questions at this time. WrestleMania 14 saw a colossal changing of the guard in the then WWF. Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, the 2 figureheads of the new generation, were both gone and replaced by Steve Austin as the company's new figurehead, and there were 2 white-hot stars ready to break out the mid-card in The Rock and Triple H. The vehicle that would rocket Triple H to the top, the new and improved D-Generation X, featuring Triple H, the New Age Outlaws, and a debuting X-Pac, who the night after WrestleMania 14 helped establish DX as the same near-the-knuckle edgy outfit with a Rooty Tooty Shooty promo on WCW, and in particular his former boss Eric Bischoff. Trips on that night lost a friend and gained a friend, and X-Pac's awesome promo was foundational to making DX Mark II so impactful, and this formulation of the group arguably the best version of the It Sucks squad. I'm going to catch some comments for that one, I'm sure. In number 4, we have Mankind. God damn, the new generation sucks. Like, I know there was the occasional bright spots. Brett versus Owen, basically anything Brett did really. Whenever the Clique wrestled each other. Check my notes. That's about it. 1995 was objectively the worst year in WWE history in terms of pretty much everything. Attendance, buy rates, roster, booking, merch, dreadful stuff. Not just in WWE, just wrestling as a whole. 1996 wasn't a lot better, but it sowed the seeds for the greatness yet to come. Austin 316 happened, Sable turned up, hello Sable, Shawn Michaels as champion instead of his tall friend, and characters with a hint more psychological complexity. Enter Mankind. Like the Silver Surfer heralding Galactus, you can see Mankind as the harbinger of the Attitude Era, a deranged character taken seriously and instilling WWE with something it hasn't seen since Jake the Snake left. Actual fear. Mankind actually kicks off the show The Raw after Mania 12, which is a hell of a statement. His awesome first entrance music, the chunks of hair missing, jamming fingers down Sparky Plug Bob Holly's throat, the Attitude Era literally choking the life out of the vapid, colourful gimmicks of the past. It's a standard match in front of a fairly quiet crowd, but it's a vital shift in wrestling history. In number 3, we have Paige. We all miss Paige. How do you make an important debut? Do you do a cool spot? Do you attack someone important? Or do you do what Paige did, arrive and instantly win the biggest prize in your division to a gigantic pop? Probably that one. And look, sure, we're talking about the Divas Championship here, a title so poorly booked at the time that the night before at Mania 30, AJ Lee defended against literally everyone and won in 7 minutes. Yeah, after burying the entire division, probably makes sense to bring in the hottest female talent in the history of your developmental brand and used her to instantly upend the entire roster. Hailing from, as Michael Cole pronounced it, Norwich, England. Thanks, Michael. I hate so much about the things you choose to be. Paige arrived to say, Paige here, received a title match, hit the page turner and won the belt, and there was much rejoicing. It's a little weird and contrived that AJ insisted on making the impromptu title match, but hell, the pop makes it worth it. We all miss Paige. In number 2, we have Brock Lesnar. Again, I'm not talking about the 2012 return, seismic as it was. Oh my, indeed, Michael, the fresh hells you visit upon us. Let's talk instead about 2002. Once again, a year of big changes for WWE. Rock and Austin were on their way out, so WWE needed to invest in the next big thing. That would be Brock Lesnar. History's most German non-German, and what would happen if Augustus Gloop ate Augustus Gloop? In a very standard Raw hardcore match between Maven and Al Snow, featuring interference with Spike Dudley, a wild Brock Lesnar would appear and murder everyone with sincere brutality. Al Snow murdered into a trash can. Maven eating the first main roster F5 and eating it beautifully, might I add. And then there's Spike. Poor Spike. Eating 3 of the most ridiculously loud, ridiculously painful powerbombs this side of ECW. And speaking of poor ECW, Paul Heyman would then show up to raise Brock's hand, giving the crowd a recognisable villain and a chant of ECW to hurl this brand new killer whale in their midst. All in all, possibly the best first appearance of an unknown wrestler in WWE history. And number 1, Lily. No, not really. Number 1, Goldberg. Brock was a fantastic unknown, but it also helps when you're known. When you're really, really known. Pufferfish Steve Austin, aka William the Goldberg, had been the big man in WCW since his debut back in 1997, racking up an undefeated streak that lasted just over a year, which is good. Not as good as Asuka's 2.5-year one, but good. Well done, Bill. Anyway, the day after Mania 19, the second best WrestleMania of all time, and the day after The Rock finally beat Stone Cold at the show of Face of the Immortals, Rock came down to the ring to have an appreciation night to announce that he'd done it all in wrestling. Multi-time WWE champion, beaten Stone Cold, been a Scorpion King, the works. Naturally, those brags were answered by Mr. Chuck the Blooming Truck, who drove through The Rock, who responded with one of the best sells of a spear ever committed to film. Jesus wept. A very much less is more kind of debut, and to be fair, the words less is more might as well be engraved on the Goldberg family crest, alongside a picture of Goldberg holding his son in a weird way. Goldberg turned up, got a pop, said the thing, speared the biggest star in the business, and left. I mean, what more could you possibly want? And that's our list. What's your favourite debut on the Raw after WrestleMania? Let us know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and share this video around if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to Honor Wrestling Club if you haven't already. You guys are all great. Hope you had a great WrestleMania weekend, and goodbye. Bye 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 bye. Welcome to the club. See ya.